So far, you and I have been talking about people-to-people communication, but there are a couple other things happening. That's people to AI and AI to AI, because we'll have all of those.
Yeah, the teams are changing.
The teams are changing. We will have AI coworkers.
Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Bit by Bit Leadership Conversations. I am in San Diego, and I am joined today by Snorre Kjesbu. You are the General Manager of Collaboration and Employee Experience Technology, which to me is putting together two things that I love the most: gadgets, so devices, and then people. And I really love what you said this morning as we were opening up the analyst part of Webex One, which is why I'm here in San Diego, which is all about the people. That is where your passion is, both from a software perspective and from a devices perspective. I want to start out with really grounding us on the strategy as you think about AI, which you've done for years, and the future of collaboration, strategically, really, not necessarily in the day-to-day.
Yeah, and I think starting with people is the essence. And the reason for that is that, we love technology and it's fun, all the things we can do with technology, etc. But it's so easy to do technology for technology's sake, to do AI just because you can do AI. What we try to do is always to start with the experience and really dial it back from there and say, okay, how can this technology support people in the best way? How can it be tools that will allow us to do even more at what we're good at, which is being creative, which is driving new ideas, which is having good discussions, there's really training people, mentoring people, all those type of things. And I think that if you have that lens when you go into it, and you have the lens where the technology should do what you expect it to do when you do it, that's the right thing. And if I can add on one thing to that, when we talk about people, I think about really two groups of people. They're the ones that are in the meeting or in the room and they're using the technology, so really the consumer of the technology. But then we have a very key group of people that are the ones that own and operate the technology as well, because collaboration in 2025 is mission critical in all organizations. You cannot operate without it. That means that the pressure on the IT organization to scale, to build out, to make sure it always works, that is key as well. And that's also a user experience. So creating the user experience for the IT organization, the ones that own and operate, is also absolutely essential.
I love that because I always talk about the user and the chooser. The chooser sometimes has different priorities than the user, but I like the way that you put it, because even from the IT perspective, it should be about an experience, not just about the tools by themselves. It should be really empowering the final user through an experience. And I think finally, more organizations are starting to care about that experience, because we know, especially during meetings, that a better experience leads to a better outcome in the actual meeting.
Yeah, and if I could take this kind of a side comment, but just it makes it makes it so tangible. There is a European city, without giving away their name just now. They used to have 6 video conferencing rooms before COVID. After COVID, they had 300.
Oh, wow.
And they did it without adding any people to do it, because they were able to scale from 6 to 300. That's 50 times. And they were able to do that because they had the tools to do it as well. That's important, because now that city can actually get more done quicker, etc. And they scaled with the existing resource. And I think that is super powerful.
I couldn't agree more. I always wish that we learn more, or we kept more of the learnings, to say better, from COVID to now, when we're free to go wherever we want. When I think about the power of being in a room with somebody, I kind of go back and think about school. And people make the comment that if you think about the classroom, it hasn't really changed a lot. But it's true to say that even from a meeting room perspective, it hasn't changed if you take the technology out. So in other words, you still have a table and chairs, right? Whether it is a big table or a smaller table. But I think with technology, you are really rethinking the experience around that room. So the room itself hasn't changed, but the experience that I have in a meeting room is changing a lot. And I think AI is going to change it even more.
Yeah, and so if we drill it back, you're right. The room is there, the chairs, the tables, the walls, the lights, etc. But there's one thing that's distinctly different. Almost all meetings have a remote participant.
Yes.
Just there is dramatically different. And, when I started working, you flew everywhere or you got together in a meeting, you never had a remote participant. Now it's 100% of the time, almost.
Mm-hmm.
That gives some requirements on what you need technology to do. And so you want to make sure there's not a barrier between the people that are remote and the ones that are in the room. You want to tear down that barrier. That vision is what we call distance zero. Because we want to ideally have a feeling of no distance between people that are remote and people that are together. And here is an area where technology can really come in and support it a lot. And can be supported with the cinematic experiences, with being able to get lots of different camera views, and really to be able to use technology so that you understand where the dialogue is going in the room. Because one thing is looking at me as a speaker, but the other one is that it's just as important to read your face in this conversation. You start making funny faces now, we know that we're sort of going on a tangent, and that is just as important. With AI, we can detect that sort of access of communication in a room. When we can detect that, we can actually, to the far end, produce automatically the access between the two of us, even if it was a lot more people in this room, so that they could see me talking, but they would also be able to see you paying attention, providing visual cues and feedback. Because as humans, that's what we're really taught to read since we were tiny.
Yeah.
Is not only what's being spoken, but it's all the visual cues.
Yeah, you're talking to an Italian, so the hands is half of what I say.
and for a Norwegian, there must be some Italian in here as well, I must say, because I speak with my hands as well.
But I think, the distance zero to me implies so many things, because during COVID, when we were all remote, obviously we were all in the same boat. Then we started to go back into the office, and people were not prepared to go back to being like a second-class citizen when they were not in the office. And I think that's the difference now. But I love the distance zero, because it takes away the class conversation that sometimes makes people feel weird. And it is about really bringing people together, right? And making sure that we are all heard and seen, because that's what drives productivity at the end of the day, right? It's making those meetings more productive. I said at the beginning, you've been doing AI for some time. I'm curious the feedback that you're starting to get from customers about what are the things that they're getting excited about, that are already deployed, and what they're looking forward to, without giving away your secrets of what's coming.
No, but we could peek at some of the secrets in broad strokes. But what are they excited about? I see that they're really excited about the capabilities we have with all sorts of camera tracking, noise canceling, being able to pick up the right noise, the everything over IP that we're driving with the new Microphone Pro, the new Pontilt Zoom camera, everything. One cable to power to media to controllability. They're very excited about that. On the meeting side, they're super excited about the things we've done on summarization, we've done on creating tasks. We're going to launch a number of fantastic new AI agents and features here at Webex One. Things like being something we call scheduler that will actually pick up if you and I are discussing, oh, we should have a meeting and we should discuss this topic with person A, B, and C. And it will detect that. It will check everyone's calendar. It will propose when we can actually get together. It will propose an agenda even. And the only thing you and I have to do after this meeting is to press send. I mean, this is really magic. And can you just imagine the type of things that's taking out the entire process of a follow-up? We're doing things around AI Director, as I spoke about, which will automatically be able to produce things from the room. And we're driving this one by one by one. But I think if we look further out, I think one of the key things to me is the following. So far, you and I have been talking about people-to-people communication. But there are a couple other things happening. That's people to AI and AI to AI. Because we'll have all of those.
Yeah, the teams are changing.
The teams are changing. We will have AI coworkers. We're going to communicate with them. How do we do that? How well will that be? You see this on the contact center side now, that an AI agent can actually do a lot of the work that a regular human agent can do. And you have that in the contact center. But you also want to be able to pass information between AI agents as well. So I think what was people to people will now be people to people, people to AI, and AI to AI. And we are pursuing all of that. And Jeetu Patel is really focused on working out that vision and creating the right offers to be able to cover that.
I know that Jeetu is super excited about AI as a way, and I particularly like what he's always says, that people fear AI taking their jobs, but it's not. It's people that know how to use AI who are going to take your job, right? And that underlines the opportunity of really level setting with AI, in my view, and empowering people to do more, different, better. When you're thinking about devices in particular, what, if you're thinking about the next 3 to 5 years, what are you thinking about from a hybrid perspective? Because that's where the industry has settled, and you were talking earlier with NVIDIA about the power of the edge to the cloud. Where are you thinking about hybrid from a Webex experience perspective?
So I think when we talk about AI, we have a tendency to put everything into the same saucepan and create a stew.
Yeah.
Stews can sometimes be delicious, but
sometimes it's a bunch of leftovers that don't come together well.
Exactly. We don't AI to want to be that. So what we should do is to make it into really precisely made dishes that's really ingredients rich, and I said. And I think the way we think about this is in 3 steps. It's AI at the edge, it's AI in the cloud, and it's AI for control and manageability. And at AI at the edge, we have a long-standing partnership with NVIDIA, over a decade, where we have really pushed the envelope of what's possible, and where we have AI capabilities and processing powers all the way out on the device at the edge. What that has given us is the ability to do really advanced things with pictures and images and audio and video, and now with the director and everything. That's happening out at the edge. That data is going nowhere. It's literally just being used to produce the best possible view so that everyone can be seen and heard, and you have meeting equity in that. That's happening on the edge. Regardless of whether this is cloud connected or on-prem, these things are there, they work. Then you have AI in the cloud, which is really about the large language models and all of the tools that we can get to things like summarization, note taking, sentiment, providing information, all those type of things, and not at least the scheduler that I just spoke about. That's in the cloud. That's with large language models, and there we're also trying to be agnostic. And then the final one is how we use AI for control and manageability. But if we leave it at the 2 first ones, there are for AI at the edge, that's happening at the edge, regardless of whether you're on-prem or hybrid or in the cloud. What we have done for a while is to have what we call cloud connected, which is an on-prem, but with certain features where you actually use the cloud. We continue to push that. And then on the contact center side, we've also been pushing the ability to actually have AI capabilities run fully on-prem so that you have the choice of both, also for more of the large language model things that are there.
So the best for like horses for courses, as they say in the UK, right? So the best solution for the job that needs to be done, but that leveraging that vertical optimization that you have now with NVIDIA. If I think about the next 12 months, if there was one feature that you could just turn on tomorrow, what would that be from an AI point of view? To really, I think there's still so much need to explain to people the power of the AI. What do you think that feature would be for people to say, yes, Webex is my choice?
We'll turn that feature on Wednesday.
Oh, there you go. And we didn't even plan this question.
We didn't even plan that question. No, so for me is not being the scribe in a meeting. I don't have to take notes anymore in a meeting.
The job that nobody wants to do.
Exactly. And not only that, but you walk out of the meeting and you think, what was the actions again? The feature we will have coming Wednesday is that we will have the ability to do that also when you're not in a meeting.
Oh.
So you will walk into to a room and you could just press a button, and everything that happens in that discussion in the room where there's no one remote will be summarized and actions will be taken, and you have all that information. You know, that's immediate value.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Simple as that. And when you think about it, when I say it's so obvious, but we're the first ones doing that. And you then have that capability. We have it both in our Webex app and we have it on our Webex devices, where it's literally, you just get started and then you have the summarization, you have the transcription, you have the translations, you have the note taking, you have the actions being taken. So I think that having that is really, really going to help, and that is immediate. And then when I think further out, I think if there is one thing that I also am looking forward to is when you have an AI co-worker that will, based on the discussion you're having, will actually propose things into the discussion like any other type of co-worker that you have. They will actually bring information to the table. It's like, if we discuss when did Italy win the Football World Cup last time, we could actually add that information into the conversation.
I know, because I don't know.
No, and neither do I. I can't tell you, but it's one of those things when you have information about that, you can actually start adding that in. I think that type of active participation is something that we will see.
Yeah, that's exciting to me as well, because it does cut time. So instead of me having to go and find out when we last won, which is probably a long time ago, versus having that injected in the conversation and continue to take, your action forward. Before I let you go, there's one topic that I'm particularly still, despite the current politics around it, that I'm still very excited about, which is sustainability. And I know that Cisco as a whole has been doing a lot from a sustainability perspective, both within your networking and buildings, and then on devices. Can you tell me a little bit more about the devices part of it?
Yeah, for sure. And for me, sustainability comes back to one simple outcome. That is spending less money. Okay?
That's what sells sustainability as well.
Yeah, no,
yes.
but it's as simple
true.
as that.
Yeah.
And for me, there's no conflict in spending less money. I think that's good. And so the way we've been thinking about sustainability at Cisco is the following. And we typically bring a couple things together. So we do focus on the amount of power that's being utilized.
Yeah.
We focus on how much recycled plastics is being utilized.
Yep.
But then we get what we call the multiplier effects, which is that we're very, very focused on design.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you design for longevity, then things last and you will buy less and less frequently. That's good for any organization.
Which is not something that a technology company that sells devices says very often.
No, but honestly, the goal for Cisco is that our stuff should last 50% longer than that of competition.
Mm.
And you can do that when you create really good products and you have design that has longevity to it. And then the final one is, I've spoken about controllability, manageability here quite a bit. But if you add controllability, manageability to that, that's sort of the secret sauce that you sprinkle on top. Because when you use that, you actually can, for instance, slow roll an installation when there are no people in the building, there are no people in the room, and also when people have gone back home on a Friday night.
Yeah.
So you will use less power. You will have it not on at that time. And that ability is really helping sustainability. And all of these things are good for the organization. They spend less money. So to sum it up, it's really about using less power, using less material, then designing something that lasts.
Mm-hmm.
And then the secret source of control and manageability software actually running on top.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for your time today. I have one request before I let you go.
Okay.
Can we do something with AI where anytime that I roll my eyes during a meeting, that gets erased?
No, I think we want to do opposite. You roll your eyes, pay attention, because this is important.
Okay. All right. I guess I'll get with that. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I'm looking forward to 2 full days of meetings and announcements.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Snorre.
Really appreciate it.